Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's episode is going to be involving one of my Honda CT90s, or the Trail 90. This one is kind of one of my favorites. It used to be my daily rider, believe it or not, until it developed a head gasket leak, because when I originally rebuilt the motor, I used cheap paper gaskets. So this one's not going to be super in-depth because, hey, it's just kind of a fun one. Me introducing the bike back into the channel. This is not the bike that you actually saw me do the camping trip on for you fans of the channel. That bike is actually right here, that suitcase cycle. It's off camera, but that one has its own issues. And these are 50-year-old machines. They're going to have issues. Sourcing parts for them is going to be kind of difficult. There's a bunch of Chinese knockoffs for stuff, but if you use cheap stuff, you're going to get cheap results, and that's exactly what happened with me earlier on. Now I have to take this whole thing apart and get it fixed again so I can start riding it. And I want to use it as a comparison video versus this on my way to work, in comparison to my e-bike on the way to work. So without further ado, let's tear into it. For those of you who aren't familiar with, this particular motorcycle or the Honda CT90 in general, it's an 89cc single cylinder motor. It is 4-stroke, so it does have a carburetor, has separate oil and everything like that. But essentially where it's leaking is right where my cylinder meets my bottom end, right down here. And there's a bunch of oil underneath. Kind of shows proof. It just drips maybe like one drop every 20 or so seconds, but it's enough for me to say, hey, this is a thing of concern. Let me go ahead and take it apart and fix it. Fortunately for me, I don't have to take the entire engine off, although sometimes it seems like that's easier. I have to take off my down tube cover, split my air box at the carburetor. I got to take my muffler off, and then let me think. I think last time I got away with, I kind of have to. Yeah, I have to take off my skid pan, unfortunately, because it doubles as kind of an engine mount. So let me think. That means my pegs have to come off, and I think that should get us going. For the most part, these machines are incredibly simple. Yeah, I think you need a total of like 8 tools to take this thing apart to its most basic components. You need a 10, you need an 8. I changed some bolts / hardware in for the engine cases and stuff like that, and some of the side covers. But let me think what else there. Man, it's a stone simple machine. Oh, you do need a spark plug wrench. I think it's a 14 or something like that, but we'll get to that when we get to that. When you take off all the plastics, they're kind of anemic. Plastics are something you have to be super careful with because they break really easily, and also they're really expensive to replace. Let's think. Carburetor needs to come off. I guess what I can do is I can just take it off with the open end wrench. I think it's a box end 10, but let me check the other side. Yeah, it's definitely a 10, but I do need a box end wrench because that one's kind of a tricky one. Honestly, when it comes to these bikes, the less stuff we can take off, the better, because that way we don't have to replace more seals than we need to. And then also, when you're messing around with the carburetor, you'll have to deal with fuel management because there's a bunch of fuel in the bowl and stuff like that. So we'll chance it, try to break it at the head. There we go. We got those 2 off. Tap this with the rubber mallet. Oh, don't even need to. Boom, good to go. Sweet. Loosey-goosey. So now that we have that part done, what we're going to do is loosen everything on the motor that we need to. We're going to do our head studs. We're going to take off our cover plates. My hardware has been replaced with Allen keys because usually they're JIS Phillips screws, which have been stripped out many moons ago. So I got my hardware kit on Amazon. I think it costs like $10 or something like that. Super cheap. So here we go. We have our think this is what I ran into last time. Oh, nope, there we go. We got our points cover. That points plate and those points look like they need to get replaced. Looks like a little bit of water intrusion in there. There's going to be a little bit of oil that comes out of here, so we're going to go ahead and preemptively move our cardboard so it'll go ahead and soak that up. Then, a lot of people get freaked out when you remove your stator cover because, hey, why is there oil coming out of my stator side? But it's because that's just the way this bike works. Oh, crap. I think I need a... Yep. These pegs need to come off so I can access that part right there, unfortunately. So let me get... I think it's a 14 down there. 14 or 17. Nope, it's a 12. I think I have a 12 down here somewhere. Oh, is it a 14? I grabbed a 17 on accident. Nope, it's definitely a 12. If you don't have one of these 3/8 ratchets, you should probably get one. They're pretty great. A lot of people kind of overestimate the amount of work that they should do, but oh, I wonder why that socket fit weird. Did it backwards. These 3/8 ratchets, electric ratchets, do really well. A lot of people are kind of like, well, I want it to do more than it does. Oh, that's not good at all. There's aluminum threads in there, so that means somebody, meaning me, messed that up. Boom, pegs, kickstand free. Now I can go back to this cover, get oil everywhere. That's gonna be fun. Wish I had a drip pan or something, but I don't. Oh, no oil coming out of there. Well, that's good. One of the next things that we're gonna do is loosen our head studs, so that way we can slip that thing off, and then we'll go onto the other side for the exhaust manifold. I think this is a 12 as well. I might need a long socket though. Is it a 14, 12, 14? 14. 14 mil. We break it loose with the ratchet first. Ooh, not good. Hopefully the stud doesn't come out too. Spin it off the rest of the way. So a lot of people are like, oh, I can't just jam it on there, and it just doesn't work. You have to loosen it first, guy. There you go. The bottom left one has a cap nut and a copper crush washer, because there's actually an oil, that's actually an oil channel that goes through there. That's how oil gets from the bottom end to the head. There we go, so that'll be our cover right there. We don't need to take that off, so we'll just leave it for now. All right, next up are 2 bolts holding on our exhaust. I believe it's a 10. I think I always use a box end wrench. Can't remember. Let's see, I know you can get one of them with a box end or a socket. Got myself in a rock and a hard place now. There we go. And there's one on the opposing side as well. I'm doing this the good old-fashioned way. Flip the wrench. Flip the wrench. There's just enough rust on there for it to be inconvenient. Sweet, that's off. That's loose now. Hopefully I just didn't crack something. No, we're fine. That's loose. Let's get this spark plug out of here. While we're on the side, for that I'm just going to use the spark plug wrench that comes. It doesn't come with the bike, but, well, I'm sure it came with the bike at one point, but I repurchased mine, so I always have this on my kit while I'm riding the bike. There we go. Great looking plug color. So bike's running good. That explains that. Minus the oil. Yes, the top end is loose, but it's still connected to the bottom end, and the fact that there's a chain, your cam chain, that goes through there. So now we have to take off our points plate, and then pull our cam out so that way we can pull that chain through the bottom end. We'll pull the head off and leave the chain and hanging loose. So let's go from there. These are some of the Phillips heads that you have to be really careful of because these strip super easily. So I strongly recommend that you get a... where's my impact hammer? Probably need to impact that off. The bottom one's already jacked up. Oh, there we go. Got the bottom one. Now let's see if we can force the top one off. Just massage it. There we go. Ooh, close. Dicey. Dicey. And then let's slowly and carefully remove this gasket so we can reuse it. Please don't break. Please don't break. Just gently grasp it in your hands. Almost totally complete. Oh, there we go. Good enough. Let me think. Not talking to you, Siri. Points cover can come off, or not points, but our points plate can come off. It's a lot of there's some moisture in there, so go ahead and get rid of that. We'll get rid of our timing advance. I think that's a 10, if I remember right. It is a 10. There we go. Slipped it. So that's going to come off. Easy day for that one. Our timing advance can slide off now. Whoop! We do not want to take this apart because there is a way to get it backwards and then mess up your timing. So we're not going to do that. And let me think. These three have to come off. The proper way to do this is actually to use an impact screwdriver to pull these off, but there we go. There's one. We're getting lucky with these. There's two. Well, now that we got that last screw out, thank God, we have to be really careful because actually there's a indexing pin for our timing advance that a seal has to go over, and there's another gasket behind this thing. So what I usually do, get a rubber mallet and just tap it. So that breaks the joint on there, and now we just have to just carefully pull that off. And then you can see that seal on the inside. That thing can really screw your day up, because if you didn't have that thing pre-ordered already, yeah, your project reassembly is frozen. Okay, so now we just got to take off take out our camshaft using two 10s. I think they're 10s. I always think they're 10s. Yep, they're 10s. There's two. Now we can wiggle our camshaft out. Nice. And now that we have our finger inside of our timing gear, we can, and we have the rest of our head disassembled, we can just go ahead and pull this thing off. There we go. Not going to drop anything in there. Sweet. Cylinder head taken off. The copper gasket's still in there, so that's good. Let me think, what else do I need to make you guys aware of? Okay, so you remember how when we were disassembling this thing, I said, hey, there's a cap nut on the bottom left stud. There's also a rubber gasket and an indexing pin. So now that I have this thing apart, I'm realizing that that's the wrong rubber ring. And yeah, I had that thing assembled in there. So we're going to go ahead and put that down. We have to take out one more gasket. There we go. Nice rubber ring. And then we have to take out our idler wheel, our cam chain idler wheel. And then that should be it. We should be able to pull that jug off. So I think this is another 10. It is. Who would have thought? So we want to make sure that the idler wheel doesn't fall in. So as we pull this thing off, we grab our idler wheel and the associated bolt for it. And then now we're going to do the same maneuver that we did to remove our cylinder. There we go. Just ease it off of our piston. Nice, nice, nice. Make sure we don't get our fingers stuck. Pull, 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 pull. Push this. I also don't want to lose that cam chain position on that sprocket because we do have to get that thing timed. All right, so now that you guys can actually see, I'll show you where this gasket failed. You can see a bunch of oil everywhere, but look right here. There's a hairline cut right in this gasket where that thing failed, and that just happens to be the bottom left. Is that the bottom left? Bottom right. That actually caused our gasket to leak. And yeah, now we're reaping the consequences of it. So let me get that thing switched out, and then we just do everything in reverse. So hopefully that'll fix our leak. So another thing I forgot to add, so there's our area that's affected, but we have these oil galleys. This is the bottom left, the one with that crown cap nut. But oil travels from this hole to this hole, or vice versa, I can't remember. But if there's a leak here because of this gasket, oil just starts to flow from this section just directly over. So it sucks. All right, so we got our new gasket and our gasket kit. We're going to replace as much stuff as we possibly can. Slap this thing back together. Assembly is essentially the same as disassembly, but in reverse. Now that seems kind of self-explanatory, but I don't think you guys need to see it. There's a ton of videos on there, on the internet, that actually are really good with engine reassembly. So go ahead and consult those. I am not that guy, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this thing up. Then we'll kick it over, see if she starts leaking again. Alright guys, so we have the bike all put back together. Wipe down any of the extra oil that was on there. So if there's an oil leak now, it's because I didn't fix the bike right, and you will never see this thing. So usually this bike kicks over in, I think, 3 or 4 kicks, so we'll see. Hopefully I got the timing right. Definitely not 3 or 4 kicks. Oh, there we go. All right, she's idling. Let's check her for leaks. Nothing yet. All right, let me grab my helmet cam, and then we'll take this thing for a spin and then double check that there's no leaks or anything. All right, so she's been idling for a little bit now, as you can tell by the idle change. There's no leaks so far that I can see. So let's take her out for a spin. Oh yeah, there's probably a ton of wind noise. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, she's doing good. When it comes to these little bikes, like honestly, I have such a huge spot in my heart for them because, well, like you guys saw, it only takes like 10 tools to get it going, and you can only mess it up in 5 or 6 different ways. Like no bolt is going to go into another bolt spot, and if it does, it's completely obvious that it's wrong. It's such a simple motor. Like you guys literally saw me take it apart. I put it back together in almost the exact same time that it took me to take it apart. So all of the parts are like, you can find parts for these bikes, but the hardest part is like figuring out a good donor body and motor to get. Like this one's good from afar, but it's really far from good. I really, really do love these bikes. Look, like, listen to that. That horn barely works. But yeah, there's bikes like these that can be had for, you know, sub $1,000, and you know they're going to be faster than some of your e-bikes. But hey, in California where I'm at right now, they do require vehicle registration. You know, it is difficult to get a 125 swap going into this if that's something that you want to do in California. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day and you really enjoyed this video. For those of you guys who are new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe so that way I can keep posting videos. I do have a variety of different things that I post on this channel, whether it's shooting, whether it's motorcycles, whether it's trucks, whether it's photography, videography, whether it's, you know, law enforcement related stuff. I do it kind of all, and I'm always kind of interested in doing more stuff, but this channel has been a passion project of mine for a really long time, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys found this entertaining, but if you guys did, make sure you let me know, and if you hated it, let me know too. If you want to see more, let me know, because honestly, I'm just kind of shooting in the dark, and this channel has always been for me to document my life. But with that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, and until next time, peace out. Am I leaking? No leaks.